Okay guys, today we're going to learn a little bit about the Panasonic Lumix FZ300 and a little bit of a disclaimer here. It's not a techie video, alright? It's just me talking with all my experience that I've had in this camera over the last 7 or 8 months. I'm just letting you know what this camera's like. So stay tuned for the action. Welcome to Six's Overdrive. It is so cold out right now, and obviously we're not going to be able to ride a motorbike today. It's just too cold, and it's not going to happen for another week. So today instead, I thought I would treat you to a review on the camera that I'm holding right now in my hands. This is called the Panasonic Lumix FZ300. And it is a great camera for the price. I'm trying to stay out of the wind because you would never believe how windy it is out here today. So I'm just gonna stay by this tennis court over here and we're gonna walk back and forth because I'm just freezing out here trying to give you guys a good video. Anyway, so this Panasonic Lumix FZ300, this is not gonna be a tech review. This is just gonna be me talking about a half decent camera that you might want for your arsenal for making your own personal videos. When I first bought this camera, I was looking at the Sony Alpha 6500 and I was also looking at the Canon 80D, but man, those cameras are double the price. This camera here is $800 out of the box, bought from my local buddy and paid for without haggling around or doing anything. 800 bucks out of the box. For $800, you get 4K video. You get time-lapse, slow motion at 120 frames per second. Whew, what else do you get? I'll tell you what you get. You get a lens that on that Canon would have cost at least what this thing cost. It's a Leica lens, it's a 24-700 zoom, and it's a fixed aperture of 2.8. That's phenomenal. This camera blows anything else out of the water. When you're talking about doing nature photography and outdoor photography and good light, this thing is phenomenal. It's great. It's really, really good. However, what it doesn't do so well is when it comes to the sensor size in it. Okay, the sensor is a little bit small in this camera. So when you get that thin, narrow view of focus, you know, where you get the background out of focus, this camera doesn't do that very good. So some of those really gorgeous pictures are not quite as gorgeous, and I think most people can live with that, especially for $800. Another thing it doesn't do so good is when you get into the low light. It really struggles to keep its color consistency. It wanders a bit on its focus, and that small sensor really starts to come into play. And also because it doesn't have as high of a megapixel count, guess what? Your cropping is a little bit harder. You're working in RAW and picking up those images when you have shadows and trying to bring those shadows out. That doesn't work so good either. But let me tell you, for $800, I don't think there's a better camera on the market for the price. So if you want to get in and have what most people can't tell the difference, I'm telling you right now, when you use this camera, most people think you have gorgeous images and that you're doing a great job with your photography. So if you're coming in as an entry level to mid, this thing is a great camera. You don't have to worry about replacing lenses or figuring out what lens goes with what. This lens just about does everything for you, and this camera just about does everything for you. So I'd recommend this thing for the price range, but I really want you guys to comment down below what I should get between the Sony 6500 or the Canon 80D. The 4K doesn't bother me so much. I never used it in this camera. I used it a couple times and the editing was such a pain in the butt. It was phenomenal how long and how laggy my Premiere was when I had to edit in 4K. So I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm just gonna keep it at 1080. But I really like the focus pull and everything of the new cameras and how they pull that off. Works really great. So guys, that was my review of the Panasonic Lumix FZ300 non-techie review, just from the bottom of my heart, with a few thousand pictures and a few hundred hours of video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you did, remember to share, like, comment, and subscribe, because this is Six's Overdrive and I'm out of here. Bye-bye.